they talking real loud, spreading no lie, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swirling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track.
Another Queen Ahmadiyyah production.
Haze on the corner, they talking real loud, spreading no lie, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swirling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. Haze on the corner, they talking real loud, spreading no lie, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swirling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your morning wake-up call. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Also, if you have not been receiving the notifications, please double check to make sure you're still subscribed. Okay, so with that all being said, hello, Deronda. Okay, King Lejean is in the house. Byron is here. All right, Buckhorst DC, Troy. All right, Nessa G, Claudette. Let's get into it, everybody. All right, shout out to all of my loyal royals and everyone tuned into the Queen. Lisa's Real Spill is in the building. All right, Most Hated Bronze Flat Power God. Let's get into it. DJ Big Six, G from the Land. LLDKR is in the house. Dernicia. All right, with that all being said, let's have a brief word from our sponsor at 12 Tribes and let's get this party started because we have a lot to cover.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
All right, so don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes Hair Oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts. You can also find it at Walmart.com. And she sells beard oil as well, okay? So make sure you stop by. Now, with that all being said, let's get into it. All right, let's get into it. Hello, Amy. Troy Parker in the house. All right, Khalid, I see you, beloved. Okay, so let's talk about it. Because the shutdown is officially over and not a moment too soon. Okay? Not a moment too soon. And now Trump is sitting there talking about they were never cave or give in to extortion. Who was trying to extort him? He is always doing the most. And then he's been sitting here lying on Obama. Trump is so jealous of Obama. It is ridiculous. Okay. It is pathetic. We're going to get into it.
The yeas are 222. The nays are 209. The bill is passed. The motion is adopted.
This is such a significant moment. This was the longest shutdown in U.S. history, over 40 days. We've never seen anything like this on Capitol Hill before. And it has now come to an end after 40 some days of stalemate and shutdown. And in the end, Democrats didn't really get a whole lot. They didn't get their chief demand, which was a guarantee of an extension of Affordable Care Act subsidies. So Republicans feel like they have a victory here. But Democrats are saying they may have lost the war, or the battle, but maybe they're winning the war because they have elevated the topic of healthcare to voters' minds. And that if there is a failure to extend those Obamacare subsidies, that Republicans are going to be the ones to own the healthcare crisis. But in this moment, a huge relief for so many federal workers all around the country, SNAP recipients whose critical food aid has been hanging in the balance, members of the military who did get their paychecks, but it was always a question of whether they were going to get paid or not. A lot of people impacted by this shutdown. That all ends tonight.
Okay. I'm glad it's over. I'm glad everybody's going to get their SNAP and all of that. But the Democrats are nothing but a major disappointment because they didn't get anything. Okay, they're not winning. And then they talk about, that it's going to be up to the Republicans are going to have to hold that with the health care. They don't care. They're not going to have to hold anything. The public is. The American citizens. Okay? The Democrats bought back nothing. That was so dumb of them. Just in my opinion, I don't have affordable care. I don't have Obamacare, so that doesn't affect me. But at the end of the day, that was just so dumb. It really was. Trump signs bill ending longest government shutdown in U.S. history. After the House cleared the bill earlier in the evening, the president signed it into law in an Oval Office ceremony. President Donald Trump signed legislation late Wednesday. Okay, it spanned 43 pages, punting the next funding deadline into late January, saying today we're sending a clear message that we will never give in to extortion. Now, this is what Trump said, alluding, mind you, to the Democrats' demand that GOP leaders agree to negotiate policy to head off the expiration at the year's end. Okay, for the healthcare subsidies for millions of Americans. And so anyway, the president also made his pitch again for nixing the Senate filibuster, despite the resistance of most Republican senators. Now, he says, if we had the filibuster terminated, this would never happen again. That's what he said, talking about the historic funding lapse. And don't forget, we have another date coming up in the not too distant future. Under the bill Trump signed Wednesday night, funding for most federal agencies will run out at midnight on January the 30th. The House passed the funding measure earlier in the evening after 8 Senate Democrats broke with their party to advance the package Monday night. Speaker Mike Johnson said that he told Senate Majority Leader John Thune he strongly disagreed with the Senate's GOP inclusion of a provision in the government funding package allowing senators to sue if their electronic records are obtained without their knowledge. He says, I don't think that was the smart thing to do. Well, they were supposed to nix that. Is that provision still in there? Because I don't want them getting all this money, okay, while everybody else is out here struggling, okay, getting millions of dollars because they don't want to be transparent. So anyway, I'll have to look into that because they did say that they were gonna remove that. Okay, Section 213, I believe it is. Now, of Thune, Johnson added, I think he regretted the way it was done, and we had an honest conversation about it. Now, the House voted late Wednesday on legislation to end the longest government shutdown that included a continuing resolution to fund federal operations through January the 30th. Okay, now Thune personally negotiated the inclusion of language in the legislative branch funding measure that would allow senators to receive a $500,000 payment if federal law enforcement obtains their electronic data and doesn't notify them. So it was a direct response to recent revelations that 8 Republican senators had their phone records subpoenaed during former special counsel Jack Smith's probe into Donald Trump's efforts to overturn the 2020 election. Okay, so we already talked about this the other day. Okay, how they put that provision in there for themselves. I mean, everybody was going in about it. Clearly, people were pressed. And I definitely was pressed because for what? They have people sitting up here starving and they're still trying to enrich themselves, not even caring about the public. Yeah, no, we're not going for that. Now, this Texas senator had some words for Donald Trump
and president and this governor has perpetuated this scam. I'm not going to go back into that farce, into that bullshit room where nothing gets done today because they would rather be Donald Trump's lapdogs than to do what is necessary. And my message to rural Texas, you've been screwed more than anybody. And you keep voting for these fools.
He said, you keep voting for these fools. All right. He's not here for any of it, clearly. So anyway, now, hold on. Hold on. Now, we have got to talk about Trump. Do you all know Trump invited a whole terrorist to the White House? And then, not only that, was sitting there praising him. Did y'all hear anything about this? Tell me y'all knew. Tell me y'all knew. He's sitting up here inviting a whole terrorist. This man used to be affiliated with Al-Qaeda. Ahmed Al-Sharaa. Okay? Ahmed Al-Sharaa, also known as Abu Muhammad al-Julani. Now, I want y'all to pay attention because he right now is the interim president for Syria. Okay, the current interim president for Syria, and he was invited to the White House. Now, mind you, this is the first time that someone from Syria has been invited to the White House. Okay, this man is a whole terrorist. So, and as a matter of fact, now he said that he's no longer affiliated with Al-Qaeda, which may or may not be true. But the bottom line is he was actually accosted by U.S. Special Forces. Okay. He was actually accosted by them and he was held, I believe, for about 4 years, if I'm not mistaken. And then returned to Syria in, was it 2011? Hold on, beloveds. Okay, so he joined Al-Qaeda in Iraq after 2003, after the invasion, fighting alongside fighters like Abu Musab al-Zarqawi. Okay, then was captured and imprisoned by U.S. forces in Iraq before his release. Then returned to Syria in 2011, okay, to find the Al-Nusra Front, an Al-Qaeda affiliate. And then in 2016, he cut ties with Al-Qaeda and merged the organization into Hayat Tahrir al-Sham. Okay, and then in January 2025, he was appointed as Syria's interim president following the fall of the Assad regime. This man has a history of violence too, just so you all know. Okay. DJ Big Six said, does anyone check Trump? Yeah, who gonna check him, boo? Who gonna check him? No, I guarantee you nobody is. Okay, I guarantee you nobody is. But so let's get into it. Let's get into it. So here's the report. Okay, I'm gonna go to this video. I'm just gonna go to this video. Here we go. I mean, this really proves that Trump is insane. This man was this man was in custody of the United States. And here's the thing. Now, mind you, the United States just recently, I'm talking days ago, weeks maybe, The United States just recently removed this man from the terror list. Okay, did y'all know that? They literally just took him off the terror list. But Trump's got him at the White House. Make it make sense. Okay.
Al-Sharaa met with President Trump today, the first White House visit by a Syrian leader since the country became independent nearly 80 years ago.
And as Nick Schifrin reports, today Damascus joined the global alliance countering ISIS, and the Trump administration extended temporary sanctions relief.
Today in the Oval Office, a once unthinkable partnership. Ahmad Al-Sharaa, former prisoner of U.S. forces, welcomed to the seat of U.S. power. His path from warrior to the West Wing praised again today by President Trump.
We want to see Syria become a country that's very successful, and I think this leader can do it. I really do. I think this leader can do it. And people said he's had a rough past. We've all had rough pasts.
Just 1 year ago, Abu Muhammad al-Jawlani led Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, a U.S.-designated terrorist group with a $10 million bounty on his head. From 2005 to 2011, he was detained by U.S. forces as an insurgent in Iraq. But last December, HTS toppled Syria's half-century of tyranny, ending 14 years of bloody civil war and beginning al-Sharaa's transformation of jihadi soldier to statesman to sportsman of sorts. With the U.S.'s top Middle East officer in the background, this weekend Al-Sharaa shot hoops with the men who, a few years ago, would have been responsible for his arrest.
It's historic in its own right? This is the first Syrian president to ever enter an American White House.
Muaz Mustafa leads the Syrian Emergency Task Force that advocates for Syrian democracy and met Al-Sharaa as recently as this weekend.
Syria itself, which was under the influence of China, Iran, North Korea, Russia, is now coming and wanting to be an ally of Western democracies, and the first Syrian president ever visits the White House ever. That, I think, is the big story.
Today, Syria announced it would become the 90th partner in the global coalition against ISIS. Already, U.S. troops train with Syrian forces to try and ensure Syria can help prevent an ISIS resurgence. And a U.S. official tells PBS NewsHour the U.S. has, quote, advised, assisted, and enabled 22 operations against ISIS over the past month with Syrian forces. This weekend, Syria's Interior Ministry announced a massive raid targeting ISIS militants. And Syria enables U.S. airstrikes. This year, the U.S. military has targeted an ISIS or al-Qaeda leader in Syria at least 8 times.
These joint counter-terror, counter-ISIS, sometimes counter-Al-Qaeda operations are ongoing and have been successful. But they've been going on kind of under the table in a way. Today, both the U.S. military and the Syrians will have the tools, the ability to publicly and privately work and coordinate on counter-terror operations.
But what is not being announced today, the repeal of punishing sanctions on Syria known as the Caesar Act, imposed against Bashar al-Assad for waging a war of brutality and torture against his own people. Today, the administration extended its suspension of the Caesar Act implementation for another 180 days. And a senior administration official tells PBS NewsHour the Trump administration supports the full repeal of the Caesar Act. Removal is key to allow U.S. business and regional states to operate in Syria. But only Congress can do that, and Republican Senator Lindsey Graham has resisted.
But Syria has much to prove to me and the region before that can happen.
Millions of Syrian refugees want to go home, and they can't rebuild as long as Caesar is even a shadow of being snapback sanctions or existing as an authority. And if Caesar remains, it is shattering to the Syrian economy, despite all the other things. And we don't want to see a failed state in Syria. That's bad for the whole world.
Also not announced today, a de-escalation agreement with Israel, whose soldiers continue to occupy strategically important land in southern Syria after a series of airstrikes on Syrian military and government targets.
The goal here is to, if anything, stop the bombardment and the incursions that have happened by the Israelis. And he also did say that this would open the door for a permanent peace with Israel in the long term.
There is also no peace yet inside parts of Syria. Bedouin in the south accuse the government of committing violence and making sectarian clashes worse. Syria's Christians blame the government for failing to protect them. Kurds in the north are worried about government pressure. And former ruling Shiite Alawites accused government forces of a sectarian massacre.
The only reason these people were killed because of the fact they were Alawites.
Dr. Morhaf Abrahi is the president of the Alawites Association of the United States.
It's just an Al-Qaeda mentality and Islamic jihadist mentality as well, that, you know, if you believe in different God or if you practice your faith in different way, you have to be killed. And this is the background of Ahmad Al-Sharaa and his government, and this is why U.S. government should be careful in dealing with this guy.
But today outside the White House, Al-Sharaa received a hero's welcome. They celebrated a man who's come a long way, even if others say he's got a long way to go. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Nick Schifrin.
Okay, now with that all being said, I'm sure this has much to do with Israel. That's just my opinion, okay, at the end of the day, because Syria borders Iraq, Jordan, Lebanon, Turkey, and Israel, okay, and we know who Trump works for. Now, with that all being said, Al-Sharaa, Syria, has moved away from the previous regime's isolation. The meeting signals Washington's willingness to engage with the new Syrian leadership. Now, Trump commented saying, we'll do everything we can to make Syria successful, referring to Syria's role in the Middle East. Yeah, I'm sure he will. He can't even make America successful, okay? Part of this is Syria joining the U.S.-led coalition against Islamic State, okay? Now, the meeting coincided with the U.S.'s decision to suspend enforcement of some of its key Syria sanctions for 180 days, clearing a pathway for economic discussion. For Syria, lifting international isolation and attracting investment, especially after years of war, is a major priority. Al-Sharaa is a controversial figure, formerly leading an Islamist armed group designated by the U.S. as a terrorist in the past, okay? Now, his invitation signals a dramatic shift from adversity to partner. Many analysts see this as an example of pragmatic diplomacy. They say we deal with who holds power more than values-based alignment. Okay, so anyway, I guess they think this is for the best. And Trump's sitting there talking about he's going to make Syria successful. Yeah. We'll see how that pans out. Trump doesn't do anything he ever says. He's just a liar who lies. And speaking of lies, why is he sitting up here lying on Obama? Don't y'all know this fool sat up there and told people that Obama was receiving royalties from Obamacare? What a liar he is. Let's talk about it. Okay, Trump shares false claim Obama earned $40 million in royalties from Obamacare. Okay, U.S. president promoted fictional claim from satirical website that has been debunked repeatedly since 2017. This is how dumb y'all's president is. Okay, this is what a fool y'all's president is. Now he's sitting here repeating something that was on a satire website, and just to let you know how plenty of these politicians don't have, you know, a high IQs. Okay, Governor Greg Abbott, because what did he do? He actually himself one day posted a satire story on the same site about his own state. Okay, now I'm sorry, but these people are just fools. All right, let's get into it. Like, everyone, please like and share. So Donald Trump promoted the false claim that Barack Obama has earned $40 million in royalties linked to Obamacare in a post to his 11 million followers on Truth Social on Sunday. Now, the fictional claim that the former U.S. president receives royalty payments for the use of his name to refer to the Affordable Care Act, which he signed into law in 2010, has been repeatedly debunked since at least 2017, when it was featured on America's Last Line of Defense, a satirical website that produces fake news reports designed to generate engagement from outraged conservatives. Now, the updated version of the claim shared by Trump on Sunday fooled many of his supporters in February when it was posted on Facebook by America's Last Line of Defense and on the Dunning-Kruger Times, a satirical site run by the same man, Christopher Blair, the main-based godfather of fake news. Okay, and it's interesting because Trump's always talking about fake news, but then he's posting it. Okay, make it all make sense. Excuse me. So on Sunday morning, Trump posted a screenshot of an earlier post with an image of Obama, and the text read, "Breaking. Doge halted a yearly payment of $2.5 million to Barack Obama for royalties linked to Obamacare. He's been collecting it since 2010 for a total of $40 million in taxpayer bills and taxpayer dollars." Now, this is what Trump posted. First of all, here's the thing. Does Trump really think, did he really think, okay, did he just post this just to be malicious, to try to fool people? Or did he really believe what was posted on that satire site? Now, knowing that he's a whole idiot and he's so obtuse, I'm inclined to believe that he absolutely believed it. Okay, but the thing is this. Why would they be paying Obama? Yes, he is stupid, G from the land. Why would they be paying Obama, for the use of his name when Obama never told them to call it Obamacare? That's just what people started calling it because Obama's the one that came up with it in 2010. Okay? At the end of the day, Ross said he believes the fake news. Clearly, I believe it, beloved. I think he does. So anyway, goes on to say, the president, who spent much of the weekend when he was not golfing, deriding Obama on social media as Senate Democrats push to extend tax credits for Americans who rely on the Affordable Care Act. Okay, they shared the screenshot with just one word of comment. Wow. Okay, because clearly they couldn't believe it. Okay, now a White House spokesperson refused to answer questions about whether the president was aware that the report he shared was false or was concerned about misleading his followers, replying instead with a broadside against Obama that did not address the questions. They don't want to answer that. Now, Blair, the owner of a network of satirical website and social media accounts the claim came from, told The Guardian that in 2023, Governor Greg Abbott, the Texas governor, was among the dumbest people in the country after Abbott shared a fake article about his own state from the Dunning-Kruger Times. See, I told y'all, these people are just dumb for no reason, okay? Just not that smart. And he said up here talking about Obama's collecting royalties. Trump, please just give it a rest, okay? Just give it a rest. Now, let's talk about this child, this 1-year-old, a toddler, who the parents say the child was by ice. They sprayed this child. I'm sure it was an accident. I wouldn't think that they would purposely spray the child. But why are they spraying someone that has a child that small with them anyway? Okay? What's really going on here?
The Department of Homeland during the chaos in Little Village in Cicero yesterday, DHS alleging shots were fired at Border Patrol agents while dealing with a hostile crowd in Little Village. Another confrontation unfolding near 26th and Pulaski. They were pepper sprayed in a Sam's Club parking lot by Border Patrol while they were with their little girl. Don Hasbrook has details.
This is what ICE does. This is what these terrorists do to babies.
Mama, you okay, Mama?
A family showing what happened to their
darn
one-year-old pepper sprayed near 26th Street. Saturday, November 8th, video of ICE operations in Little Village and Cicero shows the activity.
There's Bovino.
Border Patrol Commander Greg Bovino and members of ICE holding canisters and telling people to get back.
Back up! Don't do it!
Witnesses say Bovino threatened to use tear gas 2 days after a direct court order restricting their use of force. A press conference about it on Sunday with the family in the video at the office of Alderman Mike Rodriguez.
The moment that I'm approaching to leave the Sam's parking lot on Cicero, On the side of Ogden, I'm seeing ICE trucks coming in through the side of parking lot.
Members of the Veraza family were driving to Sam's Club in Cicero to shop when they encountered the scene.
I had my window down. Basically, I got sprayed all over my face. I never knew my daughter got sprayed in her face until my wife was the one that reacted and was like, you know what, our daughter.
They say agents pepper sprayed a number of cars leaving the lot.
I'm just minding my own business. I'm not even looking at them. I'm going straight forward, trying to come out. They're looking out. They're spraying at everybody's cars. They sprayed from the beginning of my front of my car all the way to the back.
A pastor was nearby having breakfast, saw the scene, and took the family for medical care.
A 1-year-old baby shopping with her family, pepper sprayed at close range, not protesting, not chasing ICE vehicles,
It's a
not
darn
fighting,
shame.
not doing anything wrong, just shopping. In fact, they didn't even make it to shop.
They suggest people continue to document the enforcement.
To all Illinois residents, remember that ICE and CBP have lied and will continue to lie about our communities to justify their violence.
They sure will.
We know the truth about what Trump and Bovino are directing their henchmen to do every day.
Alderman Mike Rodriguez says he was at 26 in Pulaski with people who were, of course, not happy.
We were peacefully there. Victor Rodriguez was there with me as well. Pastor Matt was a little further away. People were vociferously protesting. They were pissed. They were mad. We got out of the way of the cars. The cars had a clear path to move out. And next thing I know, I'm ducking for cover because I don't know what that grenade was. No warning. Let go at my feet.
Congressman Chuy Garcia says he has been interrupted time and time again by agents' helicopters over his house.
Everyone is being harmed and persecuted by ICE agents gone rogue. The most innocent families are being harmed by their efforts. This is what this is what civil rights are all about, and we are at the forefront of a fight for new civility and civil rights in America. Yes, we're on ground zero, but we are winning that fight.
We deserve to have 1-year-olds not be pepper sprayed and families be pepper sprayed on a Saturday when they're going grocery shopping. That we deserve for people to come to Little Village and go to our small businesses and have brunch and have a good time and frequent the area. But what the president of this country is doing is terrorism. And we have to call it what it is.
What we want is we want justice. We want accountability. We want peace.
Dawn Hasbrook, Fox 32, Chicago.
Wow. That is so messed up. Okay, at the end of the day. That is so crazy. Now we're gonna go to Miss Jasmine Crockett because I saw that just pop up. Y'all know I like Miss Jasmine Crockett, but here's the thing: ICE needs to find a way to do this more in a more controlled environment and not just be spraying stuff from canisters. Okay, just spraying it randomly or whatever. There's children out there. There's elders out there. They sprayed that pastor that one day. Okay, who was just standing there, mind you, singing. Nobody was being attacked. What the hell are they doing? They need to focus on safer arrests if they're going to be arresting people, but also arresting real criminals, hardcore criminals. Okay, not somebody over traffic citation, not people going to and fro, not just harassing people because of the way they look. You just assume that they're illegal. That's all crazy as hell. At the end of the day, Trump needs to be stopped. Okay, the Democrats need to do something. Where's Article 2? I'm still waiting on them to file Article 2. Doesn't look like they're going to do any darn thing. And then they say that ICE emphasizes using trained officers who de-escalate situations and use the minimum amount of force when necessary. When? Do they do this ever? And who are these trained officers who de-escalate situations? Because I promise you, on every video that I've seen with them engaging with protesting crowds or what have you, the people are basically calm. The agents are the ones that are being hostile and aggressive. That's what I see. Okay? And then they say when jails or prisons agree to hold an individual for ICE, agents can take custody in a secure, controlled environment, which is safer for officers and the public than making an arrest in the community. And that's what I'm talking about right there. That's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what they should be doing in a controlled environment. Not just running up on people like they're crazy. And like I said, I don't see them using any de-escalation tactics for the most part. I see them being very overly aggressive. Then talking about they wear masks to protect their identities and their families from doxing, but they present their badges and credentials when required. No, they don't. No, they don't. Some of these people said they haven't seen badges or anything and that they won't identify themselves. And if they're getting doxxed, too bad for them. Because maybe if they treated people with a little bit more dignity and respect and stopped harassing people and profiling people, then maybe they wouldn't get doxxed. Okay? Maybe they wouldn't get doxxed. How the hell do you accidentally spray a toddler, a 1-year-old, in the face with pepper spray? Because you weren't being careful. Because you weren't concerned with safety. Because you were doing too darn much. That's how. The end of the day, honey, I promise you, these people, this is all gonna go left. Just watch what I tell you. This is all going to go left real soon, and we're gonna be sitting up here under martial law. Watch what I tell you, because people are gonna get fed up. Because I'm getting fed up, and I don't even have to deal with it. So I can only imagine the people roaming the streets where they have troops on the ground harassing them on a daily basis. They're supposed to be out there fighting crime. Isn't that what Trump said with his lying, stupid self? That they're going to be out there fighting crime? That they're going to be out there getting the hardcore criminals? Isn't that what he's saying? But instead, they're out there harassing the hardworking people that go to work every day, that are out there walking around minding their own business, going to and fro. That's who they're harassing. Anyway, let me continue. Now, protecting PDF files and hiding emails. Well, let's get into it because Little Miss Crockett looks nice in her red. She's on CNN. Okay, so let's hear what she has to say about this. We may not listen to this whole thing because this is not on my agenda. Like I said, I just saw this pop up, and I want to hear what she has to say.
Of the House Oversight Committee and the House Judiciary Committee as well. Congresswoman, thanks so much for joining us. What stands out to you from these emails that were publicly released by the committee today?
Yeah, so number one, it is clear that he knew what was going on, which I think that he's kind of alluded to that at some point in time because the president said that he was trying to kick Ghislaine out of Mar-a-Lago because it seems like that's where girls were being recruited from based on information that we have. But more importantly is that he was having conversation, he being Jeffrey Epstein, with Michael Wolff, who is writing this book or trying to put together this book. And in real time, as Trump is running for his first presidential run, we hear or we see that he made it clear that he believes that he has leverage over Trump. And he said that a Trump regime would basically open up, this is me paraphrasing, this is not exactly what he said, but basically it'd be a free for all. And as we've seen, especially in this second term, it's been a free for all where Trump has absolutely pardoned some folk that we know are terrible, and we are waiting on him to pardon Ghislaine Maxwell. I think that that's coming up soon too.
Yeah, an important point indeed. Congresswoman, let's take a closer look at that email from Epstein where he writes to the author Michael Wolff saying this, and it's a direct quote, redacted victim, the name was redacted. Mar-a-Lago, Trump said he asked me to resign, never a member ever. Of course, he knew about the girls as he asked Ghislaine to stop. Obviously, we don't have the full context here, but I'm curious, how do you read this specific email and what it means?
Yeah, I think that it is showing that he was well aware and he was trying to cover his tracks at that point in time. And I think that that's what you saw from Jeffrey. Obviously, it'd be better if we could talk to Jeffrey today, but it was very interesting that ultimately Jeffrey Epstein died sitting in prison during Trump's administration.
We had on Representative Marlon Stutzman earlier. He's a Republican, and he tried to make the case that President Trump is the most investigated person in the world, and he has not been accused of any criminal wrongdoing here. What do you make of that?
Listen, they will do and say anything to cover themselves. You know, I will admit that Donald Trump has been investigated more than the normal, but he just happens to be more corrupt and more criminal than any other president than we've had. I will point out he is the only president who has been convicted of 34 felony convictions that we've ever had in the Oval Office. So while we don't know exactly what crimes he may or may not have committed, just think of it this way. If you know that you didn't do anything, then why is it that you would be twisting members of your own party's arms, trying to get them not to release it? This would be exonerating. If you know that you are free and clear, then why not say, you know what, release the files? In fact, he campaigned on releasing the files because he didn't realize that anything that he was involved in whatsoever was involved in the files. But let me tell you something. Another thing that was said in that other email that he had with Michael Wolff was he was talking about if he wants to basically play hardball, we will make mention of the fact that he really has been on the plane. And I don't remember if it mentioned the island.
Let's actually put that email up just so our viewers can fully understand what it says. I just hope the control room can put this email up. It says, I think you should let him hang himself. And this is in response to a question of whether CNN would plan to ask Trump in a town hall about the relationship with Epstein. Epstein said, how do we craft an answer for him? And Michael Wolff says in this email, I think you should let him hang himself. If he says he hasn't been on the plane or to the house, then that gives you a valuable PR and political currency. You can hang him in a way that potentially generates a positive benefit for you. Or if it really looks like he could win, you could save him, generating a debt. Of course, it is possible that when asked, he'll say Jeffrey is a great guy and has gotten a raw deal and is a victim of political correctness, which is to be outlawed in a Trump regime.
Yes.
That's a full email.
Yes, yes, yes. That is clear that Jeffrey Epstein had something to hang over his head. Why else or how else could you have a debt that you are able to? Now, exactly what it was, who knows, right? And that's what we're trying to get to the bottom of. But the fact that Trump does not want these files to be out, to me, says that he has more to hide than him actually being able to exonerate himself.
He has a whole lot to hide, okay? He has a whole lot to hide, in my opinion. And that's why Jeffrey Epstein called him in one of those emails, called him the dog that didn't bark, called him the dog that hadn't barked. And another thing is this. When in the email, it said that Trump knew about the girls and he asked Ghislaine to stop. What was Ghislaine doing? Ghislaine was the one going out and recruiting some of these girls. They also had some of the girls recruiting other girls themselves. But what did Trump want Ghislaine to stop? Well, I looked into it and did a bit of digging and come to find out he accused her of poaching. Okay, that's what he wanted her to stop. He accused her of poaching. And when you poach a person, that's basically you're doing something dishonest or something inappropriate. Okay, and you may be trying to take a person that's an employee of someone. You may be trying to coax that person to come and work for a competitor. And so that's what I think Trump was basically talking about. Because remember, he talked about Epstein having stolen some of his employees as well. So I think that they were luring some of his employees, getting some of the girls that may have worked at Mar-a-Lago, perhaps, getting them for Epstein or to render services for them. Okay, and Trump obviously didn't like it. Trump obviously didn't like it because maybe they were already working for Trump. Who knows? But at the end of the day, there's a whole lot that Trump doesn't want to come out. That's why he's doing everything under the sun. Okay? Trump has been doing everything under the sun to keep people from focusing on the Epstein debacle. All right? He had that meeting, Todd Blanche had the meeting with Ghislaine Maxwell that's sitting there trying to get her to exonerate him by basically, saying, oh, he didn't do anything. We don't believe that. She's a liar who lies. How many times has she been caught perjuring herself? Okay. And then this whole thing with the shutdown, that's what this whole shutdown was all about. That's what this was all about, if you ask me, just to get our minds off of the Epstein debacle. But it's not going anywhere, Trump. It is here to stay. People want answers, and that's what he campaigned on. Okay? That's what he campaigned on at the end of the day, releasing the Epstein files. But you know what it is? Trump just thought that he would be able to hide the fact that he was involved in anything. That's what I believe. Now, let's continue.
And then the other email talking about that we used initially, I'm just trying to find that email so I can be really precise here. But it talks about how Epstein is emailing Maxwell saying that Trump was with a victim at his house for several hours. This is an email from April 2nd, 2011. Republicans were saying that that victim is Virginia Giuffre. As you know, she died by suicide. She's been very outspoken. Jeffrey Epstein. Here's the email right here on your screen. She wrote a book, as you know, and she did not accuse him of any wrongdoing. What do you make of that? And can you confirm that?
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, it's redacted who the victim is, so I won't necessarily take the Republicans' word.
Exactly, because they're lying. That was not Virginia Giuffre. That's not who that was, in my opinion. Because for one, like I told you all yesterday, if that were her, why did they block out her name? Why did they redact her name only to come out and tell us who it was? How does that even make sense? And Virginia never said anything about she was in there with Trump. She specifically said Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, so there was somebody else in that room with Trump for hours, and I don't know who it was, but I sure would love to find out.
On who it is that's redacted. And I don't know why they would necessarily redact someone's name who is deceased at this point.
Exactly.
The Democrats did that, though.
Exactly. I said that yesterday as well.
Democrats redacted.
No. I understand,
Okay,
but I'm
yeah.
just saying, like,
Now, I want you all to pay attention because what Jasmine is saying, Miss Crockett is saying, she doesn't understand why they were redacted if it was someone deceased. And the lady's trying to say, oh, well, you know, the Democrats did it. Here's the thing. What Jasmine is probably trying to tell her is that if the person's dead, there's no need to redact it. So that likely is not Virginia's name that was on there, just like I told y'all yesterday, because I said the same thing. If the person's dead, why would you need to redact their name? Okay? Please make it all make sense. That wasn't no Virginia's name. I don't know who it was, but like I said, I'd love to find out.
like our biggest concern is to actually make sure that we are protecting victims. And obviously, she wrote a book. She told her truth. Whether or not she told everything, who knows? Again, another person that we can't talk to because we have yet another side around this. So I think that that's actually one of the things that we should talk about is that the president has tried to call this all a hoax. I don't think you have this many people dying around a hoax.
That's right. How is Trump going to call this whole thing a hoax? Okay, when he was right there in videos and pictures with Epstein and all of that. How is this a hoax? Anything that Trump doesn't want to accept accountability for, which is nothing. He don't want to take accountability for anything. So everything's a hoax. Everything's a con game. Everything's a Democrat lie. Everything's a scam. Everything's fake news. That's all he ever said with his ridiculous self. So RK says, I keep telling you Trump is not releasing these emails because he's blackmailing the people in the emails. Honey, the people in those emails, one is in prison and the other one is dead. And also, Trump doesn't have these emails, beloved. These emails came from Jeffrey Epstein's estate. They're on his belongings. Trump would have no access to them. And if Trump had access to the emails, they would have been destroyed, I'm sure. Okay, he's not blackmailing anybody. If anything, somebody's going to blackmail him. Who's he going to blackmail about some Jeffrey Epstein when he was best friends with that man for 10 years? He can't blackmail anybody when it comes to Epstein, but somebody can blackmail him. I promise you that.
I don't think you have somebody trying to hide files around a hoax. We know that there's something there.
And not to mention, I heard that some of these U.S. politicians were being blackmailed. Okay? I sure did hear it. And matter of fact, I heard it from what's the guy's name? Oh my goodness, what's that guy's name? What is that African leader's name? It was his son. It was his son. Hold on. I'll tell y'all in a minute. It's going to come to me.
We know that his own attorney general had to admit that he is in the files, but they are trying to hide stuff. The only reason that we have these emails is because we were able to get them from the estate, not because the Department of Justice was releasing information, not because Kash Patel was releasing information, even though they've had subpoenas from the Oversight Committee for some time. Kash Patel continues to hold back information. So I thank God that there is somebody that still respects the law and still respects subpoenas in this country, but it's not the people that are in power to do it, the people that actually conducted the investigation. Imagine what we may discover if we got the investigatory information versus getting something from an estate.
Well, but we should also note that the head of the Oversight Committee is a Republican. It's Republican. The chairman is James Comer, and he is the one who is issuing these subpoenas.
Well, let's be clear about this.
Okay.
This is not something that he wanted to do. This was a subcommittee, remember? It has been the Speaker of the House who has consistently tried to avoid this by shutting down the House. So what the Speaker did is he sent us out on an early recess. But before we left, it was a subcommittee of the Oversight Committee that actually did the motion for the subpoenas, and the Democrats kept pushing, and some Republicans actually joined with the Democrats. This was not led by James Comer.
Like Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, I don't know if she's on that subcommittee, but Nancy Mace is on that subcommittee for sure. She's actually the chair of that subcommittee. This subcommittee, the ranking member is Summer Lee. So it was that subcommittee. So this was actually the tail wagging the dog. I just want to be clear about that. And ultimately, the chairman had a vote that was bipartisan, that was the majority, and he had to do it. But whether or not they have been like slow rolling this, there is no question about the fact that they have.
And you have had Marjorie Taylor Greene, I believe Thomas Massey. It's been some Republicans who want the full floor vote on this.
Yeah, we've got 4. 4 out of the 219 Republicans, yes, in the House. The rest of them seem to be okay with being complicit.
Not complicit with protecting PDF files. That's what she said. Okay, so now, with that all being said, let's continue. Oh, and by the way, it was Idi Amin's son. That's who it was. It was Idi Amin's son. His name is Hussein Jarunga Lamumba Amin. He is the one who said that these certain people that we're not supposed to talk negative about because they'll take your passports, but he's the one who said those people was blackmailing some of the people over here. Some of the U.S. politicians, Trump included. Now, that's what he said. Now, I don't know if it's true or not, but I have the video of him saying it. Okay, so now with that all being said, let's continue. Like stuff, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. The longest government shutdown in history is officially over. I am so thrilled. Okay, now let's talk about Walmart. Now, I know y'all heard about this little racist BS they had going on with Walmart. Let's get into it. It's time for y'all to boycott. I think y'all need to boycott. Now, mind you, I told y'all the other day that I don't eat from Walmart. Every now and then I might get some electronic from there, but I haven't been there in a minute. But this is what they had hanging up. Okay, I want y'all to pay attention. Do y'all see that? The Black Power fist. And then this is supposed to be paper and rocks, rock, paper, scissors. Okay, then you got the Yahtzee salute that Elon did. Yeah, that they tried to say was a Roman salute. It's the same thing, no matter what you call it. Now, in case you missed it, Walmart had this merchandise on their official website. That's what they say. Now, TMZ reported that, right? TMZ reported that. Now, here's the thing. That's not the first time that Walmart has had something like that going on. Okay? Because a few years ago, here's what they had going on. Hold on. Okay, here it is. Like stuff, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Now, this is from, I think, 2015. Yeah, this was from 2015. If you all remember, Like I told you all, this is not the first time. We've complained on Walmart on several occasions. If you all remember, there was the ad that they had with the white mother and husband and their children, and then they had a Mexican mother and children, and then and the father, and then with the black mother, they didn't have a father. They just had the black mother with 2 kids and she was pregnant and there was no man in the picture. So stereotypical BS. I want y'all to pay attention. But do you all remember this from a few years ago? Like, when are y'all going to get it? Y'all need to stop fooling Walmart, period.
Shoppers are outraged by a clothing display at a local Walmart, calling it racist and insensitive. Thousands of people have seen it, and it's also getting a lot of attention on social media. The store taking flack is at Lake Mead and Rancho. Action News reporter Michael Burton is there live right now, and he's been getting some interesting reactions. Michael.
Steve, it all started with a photograph taken by a viewer. So, of course, I had to come out to the scene and see the display for myself and then see what everyone else was saying about it. The reactions were pretty mixed, begging the question, what makes something offensive? The number of people it upsets or the reason it's upsetting? It's a display you probably don't see every day. Clothing items hanging from the ceiling.
I just happened to gauge and I went, oh.
The display features clothing for young girls. Just a few aisles away, clothes for young men. Up close, it appears to be a marketing tool, but some people just aren't buying it.
Those 4 black items hanging from the ceiling, as if they were 4 black people.
What does that look like to you?
It look like Ku Klux Klan, black people hanging from the ceiling.
People hanging up there?
I see like mannequins of people hanging up on the top of the roof. Is that a Walmart?
This is a Walmart.
Yeah, like they're being hung at the top of the Walmart roof.
Some say it could be a leftover Halloween decoration.
Halloween's gone, but you still have 4 black figures hanging from the ceiling.
That's what it looks like to me. That is people on ropes.
It's evident that these aren't mannequins or human-shaped figures. So they're actually not 4 black figures, they're just clothing items. Does that change your opinion?
Yeah, not really, no, because Halloween's gone. So why would you still display 4 black items hanging from the ceiling?
Why is it offensive in your opinion?
People kill themselves.
We showed the video to 6 people. 2 of them didn't notice a thing.
What do you see? See someone walking through the apparel section of Walmart.
Looks like prices.
Anything out of the ordinary, anything strange catching your attention?
No.
Looks like prices and racks of clothes.
Nothing strange at all.
No.
Michelle Ragland saw it with her own eyes while shopping this morning. She says someone should be punished. We reached out to the store manager ourselves, and as of 1:30 p.m., the display was taken down. But we wanted to find out what's behind this, so we called corporate offices. We have yet to get a response.
I think that continued discipline may need to occur for that decision being made.
I just won't shop at Walmart anymore.
And at this time, we still have not heard from Walmart, but as soon as we get a response, you'll be the first to find out what they had to say. Reporting live near Rancho and Lake Mead, I'm Michael Burton, Channel 13 Action News.
Michael. Struggling to lose weight? This is why I switched to compounded GLP-1. I have struggled.
Okay, so you all, like I said, that is not the first time Walmart has done that. Okay, because here's another incident from 2007. From 2007. I'm going to share my screen. Here we go. Now, you all see this? I want you all to pay attention. Okay, because this current situation is about them having a Yahtzee symbol. Okay, but guess what? The same thing happened February the 8th of 2007. Shakowski letter to Walmart. Remove shirt with Yahtzee insignia from your shelves. Now, this is dated February 8th of 2007, okay? I want you all to pay attention, and here's what it says. U.S. Representative Jan Schakowsky was today joined by a bipartisan group of members of Congress in sending a letter to Walmart CEO H. Lee Scott, expressing concern over reports that T-shirts bearing Yahtzee insignia remain on the shelves of some of its retail outlet locations. Now, in November, Walmart committed to removing the product from its shelves, but reports this week suggested that the retailer had yet to meet the commitment. So they lied. Okay, they lied. Now, the following members of Congress signed the letter, and they have all the people who signed it. And then they go on to say, Dear Mr. Scott, we were pleased to learn from an Associated Press report on November the 13th of 2006 that Walmart Stores, Inc. had agreed to immediately remove T-shirts from its shelves that display the insignia of Yahtzee Germany's 3rd SS Division Totenkopf. Okay, y'all know who that is. Now, as your spokesman, David Tovar acknowledged last year, we would never have placed this T-shirt on our shelves had we known the origin and significance of this emblem. Are you serious? Now, do y'all hear the bullshit? So they're going to act like they don't know what a swastika is? Y'all heard this, right? Are y'all listening? They're acting like they don't know what this is. I'm sorry. Please make it all make sense. But that's what they said. They said they would have never had it on their shelves had they known what the offensive emblem meant. Wow. The significance of this emblem. Unfortunately, reports this week suggest that the product remains on your retailer's shelves. We are gravely dismayed about Walmart's inaction on its pledge to remove this product from its stores. And we ask that you take immediate steps to comply with last November's commitment to remove this offensive merchandise from your shelves. Okay. Goes on to say, the Holocaust was the most horrific human atrocity the world saw during the last century and perhaps in the history of the planet. However, genocide and hate remain amongst us today. It's critical that we remember the Yahtzee's crimes and take action to prevent future atrocities. Therefore, we respectfully request that you inform us about the actions you are taking and will take to ensure that this type of product is not sold in your stores. Thank you for your attention to this matter. We look forward to hearing from you within the next 30 days. And this is what the member of Congress said. Okay? Now, but remember, a spokesperson for Walmart, David Tovar, acknowledged last year, which would have been 2006, we would never have placed this T-shirt on our shelves had we known the origin and significance of this emblem. Now, you know he's lying, right? Y'all know that's a whole lie. Okay, who doesn't know what that means? Like, sit down somewhere. But they also sent a letter to TMZ. Okay, let's get into it because TMZ is the one who exposed them for this new incident, this current incident. Now you can see it a little bit better. Okay, it says Walmart gives TMZ a pro-Yahtzee clothing. Okay, this is what TMZ posted. Now, this is what Walmart had to say about it. They said, we have zero tolerance for any prohibited or offensive products appearing on our marketplace. The items in question were listed by a third-party seller and have been removed from our site for violating our prohibited products policy. When issues like this are identified, we act immediately to remove them and strengthen our systems to prevent a recurrence. Now, the trust of our customers and the integrity of our platform remain paramount. Okay, so they said it was a third party, but I don't know if that's true or not because, quite frankly, like I said, they've done things like this in the past. Okay? They've done things like this in the past. And they didn't say anything about Facebook, about Marketplace, Walmart Marketplace. What is that? That's their website, right? That's still their website. So how did they not know it was on there? Like, I have questions. Aquarius MC said Walmart stopped hiring high school rejects. At the end of the day, listen, these people know exactly what they're doing. When they do racist things, trust and believe, they do it on purpose. Okay? They do it on purpose. Please pay attention. Now, let's talk about this HBCU down here in Texas Southern University, down here in Texas. because state lawmakers in Texas Southern University itself are reacting to a state investigation into the school's alleged financial mismanagement. Now, I want y'all to pay attention because I feel like they may possibly be being targeted because of the incident that occurred there. Okay? Because didn't Trump say something about not giving some of these people their money? Let's get into it. I'm going to share my screen. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. So Texas Southern University board responds after state launches investigation into Houston HBCU. So now they're investigating HBCUs. I want y'all to pay attention because first when Charlie Kirk died on September the 10th, HBCUs were under attack, being threatened, and then had to be on lockdown a couple of days later. Okay, then we had Charlie Kirk's people from Turning Point go to HBCUs and try to force themselves on them. The people weren't there for it. And now they're being investigated, okay? Like they're doing something inappropriate with their funding. Let's get into it.
State lawmakers are reacting as the investigation into Texas Southern University moves forward. Governor Greg Abbott ordered the investigation after a review by state auditors alleged hundreds of millions of dollars in financial mismanagement. University leaders say they have already taken corrective steps, and now some state lawmakers are calling out the governor and the university regents that he appointed.
If there's any malfeasance going on, and we don't know that there is, if there is, what does that have to do with the university when you appointed the people who are running this university?
In a statement, the TSU Board of Regents said, quote, the board fully acknowledges that Texas Southern has faced historical challenges related to financial oversight, adding they've, quote, been focused on corrective actions and will continue to do so, end quote.
Let me tell you all something. At the end of the day, they're attacking them, Governor Greg Abbott, with his low-down self, Hot Wheels. He's attacking them. He's having them investigated because of the incident that happened there with Charlie Kirk. Do you all remember? Texas State University expelled student after video appearing to mock Charlie Kirk's death. I knew it was something that happened there. I couldn't remember. Was it when the people showed up with the signs and the students asked them to leave? No. Here's what happened. Let's get into it. Remember the girl who was mocking Charlie Kirk, the black girl? She got expelled. Okay? That was at this school. And I'm pretty sure that's why Greg Abbott is having them investigated.
Wishing the death on somebody like that, I don't think that's okay. I don't think it should be tolerated.
If we limit one free speech, unfortunately, we limit all free speech.
A whirlwind of emotions is taking over Texas State University after a student is expelled for their actions in this viral video. The student can be seen appearing to mock Charlie Kirk's death by grabbing his neck, falling to the floor, then spitting on the ground. This happened during a vigil for Kirk held at the school Monday night. One student, Hayden Allard, spoke with the person just minutes before this happened.
I was like, hey man, like, what's your, like, I want to get some input of like why you feel this mad, like why you feel enraged. He just shook his head and he was like, F Charlie Kirk, all my dead homies. He kept saying stuff like that and shaking his head. He's like, you're just going to talk to a brick wall. You're not going to get anything out of me.
Earlier today, Governor Greg Abbott responded to the video on X, calling for the expulsion of the student, saying, quote, this conduct is not accepted in our schools. Expel this student immediately. While Allard and some students I spoke with agree he should be expelled, others say this student also has a right to freedom of speech.
They have a right. They're entitled to, as long as they do not incite violence, not mock.
I think he should not be expelled just for having his opinions.
Ultimately, University President Kelly Dampus did not condone this behavior and expelled the student. In a statement this afternoon, Dampus says in part, I will not tolerate behavior that mocks, trivializes, or promotes violence on our campuses.
Thank you for watching. Please hit the subscribe button.
Okay, so yeah, he got suspended. I was thinking it was the girl that got in trouble, but that That was my mistake. That was not an HBCU. That wasn't the same school. Okay, that was Texas State University. But anyway, nonetheless, here's the thing. Retired federal banks is laughing at me because I said Hot Wheels. Honey, I got that from Little Miss Crockett. That's what she calls it. Okay, that's what she calls it. Now, with that all being said, let's continue because we're almost done. Okay, we're almost done. So let's talk about Wendy Williams. Wendy Williams says her neurologist says there is no frontal temporal dementia. Okay, they said this lady does not even have dementia. Now, there were some rumors previously that she may have had alcohol-induced dementia. I don't know if she did or not, but she definitely doesn't have frontal temporal dementia. And how do we know that? Because if she did, she would have gotten progressively worse. That doesn't get better. Okay, so let's talk about it. Everyone, please like and share. And the next question is, who's going to get sued? Because they've taken all this woman's money, they've taken her life over, had her locked up in a building where she couldn't leave, restrictions and all of that. And her son said they were lying on his mother. So who's going to jail behind this? I have questions. Okay, Wendy Williams does not have the medical condition a judge has used to justify keeping her in a restrictive guardianship for more than 3 years, according to a top neurologist, not just any old Joe Schmo, a top neurologist. That judge needs to be taken off the bench. Wendy needs to sue them. I absolutely would. Now, sources with direct knowledge tell TMZ Wendy recently completed a battery of tests in New York City, and the neurologist concluded she does not have frontotemporal dementia. The neurologist provided Wendy's legal team with the results late last month. The findings conflict with an earlier test when, according to Wendy's guardian, she tested positive for the condition. The guardian was probably lying. Okay? So this sort of dementia, according to multiple experts to whom they say they have spoken, never gets better. It only gets worse. Yet Wendy has exhibited remarkable neurological resilience since she became clean and sober 3 years ago. Although she is still locked in the guardianship. Yeah, because she probably had alcohol induced. Okay, like some people were speculating. Now, they say we're told Wendy's legal team will file legal docs with the court in the next 2 weeks, paving the way for a hearing where they will ask the judge to terminate the guardianship. Now, if the judge digs in and refuses to end the guardianship, powerhouse lawyer Joe Tacopina will then demand a jury trial and ask jurors to free Wendy. First of all, they should not even be allowed to do this. I don't even see how in the world they do whatever the hell they want with somebody else's money, want to lock you up, and then have somebody in charge of your estate, in charge of your funds, your bank account, and that person's not even related to you, and they're stealing your money and mistreating you, telling you when you can come and go. Yeah, that's effed up. Okay, that's effed up. Same thing they did to Britney Spears. Okay, these guardianships are something else. It's just a way to grift and take people's money, as far as I'm concerned, because it looks to me like they can just make up any old lie on you and have you locked up and then just take over your life. Because that's what they did to Wendy Williams. And I know y'all probably don't remember this, but this stuff didn't happen to Wendy until after she told Dr. Oz that she wasn't going to take that damn venom. Do y'all remember that? Because I sure did. Wendy did not start having any type of issues or whatnot until she told Dr. Oz that she was not going to take that venom because she didn't trust it. Then all of a sudden, she's got problems. That's what I remember. I don't know what y'all remember, but that's what I remember clearly. Now, speaking of Tacopina, Wendy attended the wedding of Joe's son, Chris, who married Emma White. By the way, Chris is about to get his second Stanley Cup ring. He's the data analytics manager for the Florida Panthers. Okay, Harvey, why do we need to know that? Okay, please sit down. So anyway, like I said, Wendy does not have dementia. She's gotten better in the 3 years that she's been locked up, not worse. So who do we sue? Okay, because that's the next point of business that her family needs to be getting into. Now, let's talk about this lady Let's talk about this later because this story right here is so ridiculous. Okay, I've had this story for a few days and I kept forgetting to talk about it. It's really not that important, but it is interesting. Okay, I want you all to pay attention because a TikTok influencer has been ordered to pay the sum of $1.75 million over an affair with her manager because the wife sued for alienation of affection. First of all, I'm not suing nobody. Okay, if you have a husband and he's out here gallivanting around, let him have them. Because quite frankly, he's just going to be a problem for them. Okay, and where is this woman supposed to get this $1.75 million? Because I guarantee you she don't have it. I've seen her. Okay, and that's what she doesn't have. I know they say don't judge a book by its cover, but clearly she's nowhere in that tax bracket. That's all I've said.
A modern-day Montague feud gone viral.
And it was nothing but lies.
North Carolina TikToker Brene Kennard ordered to pay $1.75 million after a jury found her liable for having an affair with her manager, Tim Montague, characterized under North Carolina law as criminal conversation and alienation of affection. Montague's ex-wife, Akira, suing Kennard for her deliberate interference in the marriage, including wrongful and malicious acts.
What's up, y'all?
Saying in a court filing, Kennard engaged in behavior designed to seduce him, like wearing very short skirts and twirling her hair in a flirtatious manner. The plaintiff's attorneys presented evidence, including sexual videos and texts, a video of Kennard dancing in the couple's home, and another video of her saying she cannot wait to be Mrs. Montague. They argued the TikToker, who had millions of followers, flaunted their relationship on social media.
Hi, guys. That says that my client was telling the truth.
Akira Montague saying as a result of Kennard's actions, she has suffered humiliation, mental and emotional anguish, and injury to her health, adding their actions deprived their two young children of a two-parent household.
She has received justice from losing her husband and the father of her children.
But Kennard argues she had Montague's consent.
She gave her consent. She said it was okay because she knew her marriage was over with and it was done.
Kennard now calling herself Mrs. Montague, saying the couple are married, though NBC News couldn't find any legal documentation supporting that claim. She tells NBC News in a statement, the verdict wasn't fair at all. I fought the lies for 8 days and the jury sought sympathy, not facts, adding it's not over until God says it's over. Tim Montague adding about the TikToker, my wife had no fair shot, especially when defending herself against an entire team of attorneys. As for that $1.75 million payday,
I don't know, but she'll probably never see it.
All right, Maggie joins us now. Maggie, sorry, we were sort of glued to the monitors there. This one's a strange one.
Fair.
Let's back up. You mentioned this is a North Carolina law, but there are other states where people can sue over infidelity?
Yeah, Tom, that's actually true. And for people sitting at home thinking, hold on, you can be sued for having an affair, the answer is yes, indeed. This is a thing. In fact, in a handful of states, including Utah, New Mexico, and Mississippi. And North Carolina, for its part, has actually seen multiple cases, including back in 2021. There was one involving a state senator that was settled out of court. And then back in 2011, a kind of infamous payday, there was one of these cases where a woman was ordered to pay $30 million for wrecking a marriage.
30 million. Wow.
30
okay.
million.
Maggie Vespa, we thank
I bet they never got that $30 million. Like, girl, bye. $30 million? Please miss me with all of it, okay? Fly Eagles Fly said, in my opinion, all her issues started after she had Diddy on the show. Shortly after he was a guest, she fell out on her show. Diddy holds a grudge for life. I don't know if Diddy holds a grudge for life or not because I don't know Diddy in real life, but what I do know is that people that Diddy has had grudges with in the past, he has made up with them. In some cases, Wendy was one of them. That's why he was even on her show in 2017, because they supposedly buried the hatchet, beloved. Now, as far as Wendy passing out when she was dressed like the Statue of Liberty that day, yeah, it looked to me like Wendy saw a ghost. Okay, it looked to me like she saw something that the rest of us couldn't see. That day Wendy passed out. Do y'all remember that? It looked like Wendy got, like she saw something that the rest of us didn't have the visuals to see. Okay? That's what I saw. All right? Amy said, home wreckers tread carefully. Did home wreckers tread carefully? Okay. Shouldn't be home wreckers anyway. All right. They need to get sued. They need to get sued. Out here snatching up people's men. Did y'all see her? And I don't know what he was interested in her for, because the wife looked a whole lot better and seemed a whole lot nicer. She had a whole attitude and then was talking about she's probably never going to get it. Like she's never going to give the lady that money. I mean, the husband looked a hot mess anyway. So if I was the lady, I'd have been glad that both of them were out of my life, honey. I'd have just been like, bye. Y'all need help packing his things? That's what I'd have been like, because, honey, they both looked a hot ass mess. But anyway, I digress. With that all being said, I'm about to conclude this broadcast. Listen, I want to thank you all for tuning in. Okay, I don't know if I'm coming back later. I'm not going to make y'all any promises. I'm not going to make y'all any promises at all. Oh, hell no, said just sitting around eating. You are so wrong for that, beloved. Not just sitting around eating. Is that all they do with their lives? Okay, so anyway, listen, I hope y'all enjoy the broadcast. Everyone enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, and never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. So listen, like I said, not sure if I'll be back later, but if I do, it'll be about 6:30. Okay, so you can check the channel, check my community tab, or check my Twitter. All right, and so with that all being said, I will talk to you all again soon. Peace.
Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got